Right now I'm in Alberta, in Canada's Rocky Mountains. These mountains provide habitat to one of our most iconic species, the grizzly bear. These brown bears are the second largest land-dwelling carnivore in North America, second only to the polar bear. In Canada, the grizzly can be found in BC, the Yukon, the Northwest Territories, Nunavut, Alberta, and there are even a few in Manitoba. They can thrive in many different types of wilderness, along the coast, down in valleys, in forests, on the tundra, and even up alpine slopes. The home range of a single bear varies but can be up to 1,800 square kilometers, or 3 times the size of the city of Toronto. Studies have shown that even if grizzlies can adapt to living close to humans, they can be sensitive to the presence of people. So when the human population grows in an area shared with grizzlies, the bear population tends to decline. Big bears need big space, and they prefer it left wild. Mature grizzly bears live a solitary existence and not only try to avoid humans, but also other bears, except when breeding. In late spring, male bears will travel great distances to mate with females. After breeding has occurred, the fertilized eggs will lay dormant in the female's womb in a reproductive strategy called delayed implantation. They will continue their development once the female bear has entered her winter den. In January or February, a typical litter of 1 to 3 bear cubs is born. They begin life blind and helpless and are approximately the size of a large grapefruit, or about 400 grams. Once they have grown to be around 8 kilograms, or roughly the size of a watermelon, they will emerge from the den. They will stay with their mother until they're about 3 years old. Grizzly bears can live more than 25 years, and a female bear usually produces only 3 or 4 litters within her lifetime. Because of their slow reproductive rate, grizzlies don't easily bounce back from population declines. This makes them extra vulnerable to threats. Here in Canada, about half a grizzly's life is spent napping. When the temperature drops and food is no longer available, bears will enter a den and sleep away the coldest months. While they're not true hibernators, grizzlies do enter a resting state called torpor, where their energy use is reduced and they live off of their stored body fat until spring. Grizzlies vary greatly in size depending on the region they live in and their gender. The average male bear weighs between 250 and 350 kilograms, and females weigh about half that. Big bears have big appetites and must consume an enormous amount of food to sustain themselves. Although technically a carnivore, grizzlies actually consume much more plant matter than meat. Roughly 85% of their diet is made up of berries, tubers, grasses, nuts, and seeds, which they locate using their incredibly powerful sense of smell. Grizzlies include some meat in their diet when possible because it provides them with much needed protein. Depending on where they live and the time of year, they will eat salmon and newborn deer, moose, caribou, or elk. They also enjoy dining on insects like ants, bees, beetles, or grubs. Although they're very capable predators, grizzlies only occasionally prey on large adult mammals and thankfully don't normally regard human as a menu item. They can, however, be dangerous if they feel threatened or encroached upon by people, so always remember to give these gigantic wild neighbors their space. Humans are actually the only real threat to grizzlies. We have already had a big impact on the grizzly's range in Canada, as we are largely responsible for its disappearance from its historical range on the prairies. Today, grizzlies continue to face human-made threats like illegal poaching, collisions with motor vehicles, the overdevelopment of their habitat, and access to our garbage. If we can ensure that these big wild bears have their own big wild spaces to live in, Canadians will continue to live in harmony with the incredible grizzly. And remember, no matter where you live in Canada, wildlife is close by, so get out and see it.